What's going on, team? Proof here, and today I'm bringing you a Reddit Showdown game I had against Woudragon about a month ago. It took place in December, the week that GBT09 was released, but we already had the cards on CFA beforehand, so we already agreed to meet up. And the game came about because Nico Justice, one of the admins on the subreddit, was in the search for more original content, and somebody mentioned, I think it was Nico himself, who wanted to have more games against people on the subreddit. And somebody mentioned how I had my game against the Funk Doctor, want to have something similar go down because everybody got gathered around for it. And I'm gonna leave a link to the Funk Doctor game in the annotation, so you can click to it if you're not familiar with that particular game. And I pretty much explain how that game came about a different way. I was defending Spikes, and Woudragon, in a joking manner, I believe jokingly, he said, so all we have to do is badmouth Spikes and you'll want to play somebody. And I was like, if you want to play, then let's we can go ahead and play and arrange your time. And so we finally got a time together because Woudragon is in Germany, so we have a 6-hour time difference. So playing on the weekdays wouldn't work because one of us had to play super late at night or super early in the morning. So we finally got time on the weekend to gather up, and he was playing Vanquisher, Narukami, and I was playing my version of Spikes, which is slightly different than the deck profile I did a couple days ago. This deck has Medical Manager, Lethal Forward, and more draw triggers, and also has 6 grade 3s, be able to put more earlier aggression when I was trying to figure out how I wanted to build the deck. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the game itself and talk about my plays and talk about what I feel I could have did better in the long run now that I have had more experience with the deck, and talk about different plays I could have made now that I'm more experienced with it, I should say. So let's go and get into it. And I am going second because he won the toss and we were playing by Bushiroad rules. And I'm missing a grade 1, which hurt, and I didn't top deck it. If I was going first in this case and I didn't catch my grade 1, I definitely would have, I definitely would have passed turn and try and get it that way. So I gave up a Rising Nova and a Cobalt just because I had, already had my Rising Nova secure, and I had Mecha Trainer to give me a Stride Fighter because in this particular version of the deck, as far as I know, there's no ways to retire my Mecha Trainer beforehand, and I catch a crit on my attack, which helped bring me back from losing out on that one card. And so he goes Martial Arts and throws down Chatura, and I definitely want to guard Chatura as much as I can to keep that card from getting into his hand. And I lose out on a Tiger, and I choose to ride my second Tiger here. And thinking back, I think it may have been better to ride Cobalt and call Mayhem to the rear guard circle, because Mayhem is more immediately threatening than Cobalt is, and he may have, it would have been a nice diversion to put Mayhem to the side and force him, more likely to force him to attack a rear guard. But I use Mecha and I grab Acrobat here because I need to Stride next turn, and I immediately attack Chatura because he has to get off the field, can't keep that thing on the board. So he rides in the Vanquisher, calls out Voltage Horn and the other grade 3, I don't know his name exactly. And he goes ahead and attacks Cobalt, which I let die immediately. And unfortunately he checks a crit, and I have to guard, or I have to let this one go because I only played 2 Double Watch in pretty much all of my Ryzen decks. And so since I already have one in hand and I saw the second one pop up, I can't guard with it, otherwise I can't use Double Watch effectively or anymore for the rest of the game. And I thought it may have been useful to have it, especially if I went to Miracle Ace in the future. So classic, draw the heel when you're under pressure. So I Stride, and I believe I took some time to think about it, because so here's what I'm thinking what I would do now, and we'll see what Past Proof did. Past Proof. So what I would have done here, most likely, I would have gone into Damn Fear more quickly instead of trying to think about it, because I have the G guard in my hand to go into a Picaro the next turn if I need to. Granted, a Supernova flip plus a G-Guard means I can call 4, which would have been nice against a deck such as Narukami. But I was thinking of putting on hit pressure, so that way I can not use as many cards in my hand and get the immediate refund that Dampier gives to me. So I would have went into Dampier more quickly. I would have given up Tiger here and then called out something else, which hurts because that would have put me down 3 Tigers, but that's one of the big reasons why I play 4 now, or usually play 4, because in those situations I can always rely on having one left. I'll call out lethal here because double on hit pressure, because in my opinion with 3 cards in my hand, one has to get through, and I check a timely heal, which helped a lot. So I called Dampier. So I did it this way because A, Double Watch is the only one in my hand of charge, and this way it puts it back to the deck safely, so that way it's secure in there for me to search it out later. And I draw a Perfect Guard, which helps out a lot. And here he has to give up 2 cards. If he didn't have that Vanquisher in his hand, he may have let it pass because otherwise he would not have been able to stride effectively. So go Zoras here, start binding, get his bind stuff on. I want to pause it here because this right here is the most pivotal turn in this particular game. So with spikes, if you're thinking of going Miracle Ace and you're tied up with your opponent and you can effectively guard, it would have been much better for me to let it pass. But as you can see from my hand, I have no way to stride next turn. And so I had to wager the bet between taking the hit and losing out on a grade 3 or a stride fodder and not be able to stride next turn or have to give up 2 cards to stride. Or on the flip side, I have to, I lost train of thought there. So I could either use my G-Guard to filter for a stride because I play a Gleam, I would be able to pitch and draw. So we'll see what I did together, and then I'll let you know what I would have done differently. So thinking between those 2 options of letting it pass or using a Gleam to dig harder for a way to stride next turn. So I choose the option to dig for it with the Gleam, give up the Medical Manager most likely, and I get the stride fodder. And the reason you want to think about letting it pass is because if your opponent checks a heal, trying to take your opponent from 2 damage to dead is infinitely more harder than trying to take them, or trying to take them from 2 to dead is way more harder than trying to take them from 3 to dead. And so having that 1 damage buffer at any moment in time, especially on a timely turn like this, would have hurt a lot. And so in theory, it would have been better for me to take the hit from his rear guard grade 3 here, and then I could have double perfect guarded into anything because I would have had 4 units to call out. Actually, I could have double G guarded here, saved my butt, and then I could have went into Picaro with triple Tiger to follow it up with that because he would have had 3 cards in his hand, and with 3 cards and 1 G guard, he would not have been able to make it out as likely versus being at 2 damage. And so I feel, well, 4 cards because I forgot about his crit back there. So he checks the heal, and that put a damper on that. So he had 2 G guards. So let's see, 3 damage with 2 G guards versus Picaro, which could potentially check a crit, and triple Tiger. If he chooses to G-Guard, he loses out on triple Tiger. If Picaro checked a crit on my follow-up turn, I could have forced him to use a G-Guard for the first 2 Tiger swings, and then the 3rd one could have pushed through effectively. So, in my opinion, I misplayed here because I should have taken that damage, and then I could have perfect guarded him or double G guarded here, and then I would have gone Picaro. So since I didn't do that, now I'll put myself in a bind here where I have to Hail Mary Miracle Ace. Because I can't check soul, but I think I have 4 soul because no medical manager, just a call, ride up plus Nova plus Devil Watch. So you have 4 soul. And so I don't like having a Hail Mary Miracle A, especially knowing that he had 2 G guards in his hand at the very least, which meant that 2 of my attacks would not have gone through. But anywho, live and learn. So we go on with the turn. I check a draw trigger, which is nice, but I didn't draw a charge unit off of it, which hurt me a little bit. But I can always rely on a potential Cobalt swing. And since he hit the stand trigger right there, unfortunately means I have to give my ace boost power to Misery so she can force 5k shield versus giving it to Frog Raider. So that's unfortunate, but those are the breaks sometimes. So make Misery attack for 18, give up the draw trigger. And I think I called out Double Watch again. No, I called out Cobalt this time, just to force out the G guard. And if I went Picaro here, I would have had that perfect guard in my hand for the future on his next turn after forcing out all of his cards in his hand. And I would have put him in a situation where he can only attack with his rear guard plus his vanguard swing. So all in all, I was so used to Miracle Ace in here that I didn't feel comfortable with the other Strata options at this time. But a month later, I can see the different things I could have done and put myself in a better position to win instead of trying to hope and pray on the Hail Mary. And so I reluctantly give up my perfect guard here because I wasn't sure if he had a grade 3 in his hand or not, but he had enough to survive thanks to a couple of triggers, which is fine. And then he was 6 damage healed anyway. That would have been hurtful, but Picaro into the heal trigger still would have meant that I had enough to live because I would have the perfect guard, and then any other triggers I would have had just depending on how the shuffle would have went down, because I would have pulled out 5 units with the double G guard, and so I would have filtered out 5 non-triggers out of my deck and compressed it down to be able to get more back, to get potentially check more triggers. And so I no guard, he hits the crit, which is unfortunate, and so I ended up losing that game. So as you can see, I had the potential there to win without having to rely on my opponent checking triggers or not. I just didn't see it because I didn't feel comfortable with that different option there, which is fine, like living and learning, but I definitely know I could have did something better. So going on to game 2. This is me trying to find the pause button. So go game 2. And we choose to do it flip again, just to keep it fair. So the loser chooses. I let him decide how we do it. And so he wanted to toss again, so he's going first again. And this time I have a full ride up, so I just put 1 back. And I got pretty much a perfect start because I have the medical manager ride, which is really good. And then I can go straight into Nova search next turn. I choose not to call Acrobat here because, like I mentioned before, Martial Arts Dragon can retire and bind when he's ridden, and he can only target front row, so I wanted to make sure I didn't put myself in a position to let him get that retire and bind off and filter his or fuel his Thunderstrike. So he just rides and attacks, which is nice for me. Now I can start going a little more full bore, as you can say. Reveal and search out Ryzen and pitch the draw trigger. And I use Mecha here to grab, I think, Eliza, just to get her in the back. Yep, look at that. Still making some pretty good plays. Check the crit, which is really good. And he guards early because he talked about it after we were done. He wanted to guard early so that he can have the means to take some damage. I don't know if I would have called Chatura here if I were him, because he allowed me to Sebreeze him. But I think in in the name of tempo, just to keep some forward momentum going. He felt it was better to do that. And I took it because there was no threat having Chatura come down because he already used his counter blast for Martial Arts Dragon. And he checked the crit, put me to 4, but timely draw trigger. And I choose not to Sebreeze here because I can put him in a position where first strike Miracle Ace can work because I have the heal trigger in my hand and I have Misery in my hand. And so with 3 counter blasts, you can, as long as you have either Misery or Frog Raider, you can go Nova Search into the missing piece into your drive checks, and then you can use Miseries to call out the charge unit that you need and then start your ace combo off that way. So I have the 2 requirements here in that I have 3 damage and I have Misery in my hand. And so I felt comfortable going this line and not using Sebreeze to choke away that counter blast that I would need later. I lined up 2 Lyre Lips here just because it attacked perfect 8k on Chatura, and then I can draw 2 cards and give myself a chance to check a trigger, which I check. I check a crit, but he checks the heal, which is fine. Eliza's in the front row, but unfortunately he can't stride based on his hand. So all he can do is ride and attack. And I knew I was going to G-Guard his Vanguard, or no. That's not for certain. I thought about it because I thought about protecting Eliza because that meant that I don't know if that was the right move though. I did what I did because keeping Eliza meant that I had a 7k booster for Misery, which meant that if he did check a trigger on my Miracle Ace turn, I wouldn't need to pass power over to Misery so she could hit later. So I thought maybe in the long run it would have been better to let Eliza die and save the G-Guard for his Vanguard. But then I would have to give up another card anyway. That's fine. I think either way I was going to have to give up a perfect guard. But in this way I kept Eliza around. So I stride, go right into Miracle Ace, activate him, and now I'm at GB3, and I have the full combo for Miracle Ace, which is a Lyre Lips plus Frog into a string of charge unit calls. And him being at 3 damage with 4 cards in his hand, ideally wouldn't be enough as long as I can check one more charge unit on my drive check, which the odds are in my favor in that case. Which is, there we go. 2 charge units, 3 charge units. Get my counter blast back for the future. I give the boost to Frog just so it can still hit, because Misery still forces out 5k, which is fine. Cause I think I knew he had the PG in his hand. I think it came off his drive check. I can't remember. And then I called out Cobalt just for pressure, because then he may feel inclined to let Misery hit more often and push him to 5 damage, because I valued him being at 5 damage over the hit. Or the hit from Cobalt, I valued the damage from Misery. G-Guard's there, get set out the way. And I GB3, and I just call out Tiger, just because it pretty much assured me to win the game right there. I could have used the remainder soul, which I think I had like 5 or 6 soul. So effectively Tiger was attacking for 81 right there. Because to me, I like to multiply my soul times 10,000 when I calculate Tiger's power. So here, we're in game 3. I roll ahead, so I'm going first. And my thinking was, at the time, I believe it was first stride ace. Even though the matchup's a little bit slower, I feel that I put myself in position to first stride ace effectively. So right, I protect there just because I feel I might have a Rising on top, but I don't, because I'm missing a grade 3, which really hurt. And again, I didn't want to call out there because Martial Arts Dragon. I don't know if I fear Martial Arts Dragon so much. I feel like playing around it is the smart thing to do in this matchup. Lost the boy and him and Hive Maker. So I thought between skip and ride and G assisting. Since I had the heal trigger, I felt comfortable with G assisting. And I hit Frog Raider, or not Frog Raider. I hit Hive Maker, but I chose to put it back because I don't want to pitch 2 cards to gain a Hive Maker. I'd rather re-roll for a Rising Nova again. And so I skipped grabbing him for the future. I just Mecha Trainer to grab, I think Eliza. Grabbed Eliza. And maybe better grab a Perfect Guard in that situation, in my opinion. Yeah, that would have been better. Definitely would have, oh, never mind. Got it anyway. Rewarded. And so I give him the 2 counter blasts to potentially Sebreeze me. And I think he takes advantage of it. No, he doesn't. Maybe he didn't have it. I don't know. And I think I took that damage to learn from game 1 in terms of allowing him to potentially hit me or check a heal, which he got right there. And then I guard this attack here. So try again, take 2. And I got Rising immediately. I just put everything else back. Toss Eliza and I toss Mayhem reluctantly. And I give up Max and Sebreeze. I don't need those anymore. So I was thinking what put me in the best position to win here. And I tossed between Damnfear and Supernova again. But since I had Cobalt on board, I thought it'd be better to go Supernova right here. That way I can charge it and put pressure on him to use up his G-Guard for the future. Use 1, call out Devil Watch here just to get the counter charge. It may have been better to put Devil Watch to the front row circle. That way it can attack one of his rear guard slots there. And I double crit, which is timely and effective right there. But he triple damage trigger, which is fine. I didn't expect Cobalt to hit, but he didn't have to go for his G-Guard in that case. And thinking back, if Wu chose to G-Guard into Conquest there was a really good chance I would have lost this game, because he would have attacked for 21 plus 10 plus 3, 2, I think. That would have been 30k column for his front row rear guard right here. And then Martial Arts would have been attacking for 24. I would have probably let the Vanguard hit just because I would have had to protect against this. I would have risked the critical trigger. And so there was a strong chance he could have won, because I would need to pitch a Liar Lips here, because I would need to protect the Rising Nova in my hand so I can stride next turn. I believe I would have lost if he went that route, because he would have attacked rear guard, which I would have G-guarded, and then I would let Vanguard hit, and then depending on his trigger checks, I let this one hit because I knew I was gonna perfect guard the Vanguard regardless in this case. And he checked the stand trigger and a crit trigger, so I would have died if I let the Vanguard hit on Conquest turn. And since he gave all effects to the other side, I G-guard into Dismal because it stopped it, and then just 10k guard there. And praise Picaro here, because that's my only option. I can't Miracle Ace, I can't Second Stride Supernova. So I go straight to Picaro here, and with 4 counter blasts, there's two ways I could have taken this, but unfortunately I lost out on both my Hive Makers. I could have, since I had, well, I would have lost Tiger because I would have needed something, but I could have gone Picaro into Hive Maker, Frog Raider, Eliza, and Tiger, and then I could have attacked with this side here into, and then use Hive Maker's skill to call out something else, and I would have got myself an extra attack off. So, give away Tiger, unfortunate. I flipped up Danfer Lily. Would have been. I've learned now it's better to flip up a Supernova with my version of the deck. Oh, I think I lost. I think I lost all three of my Eliza because I think one was bound from. I lost bound one, lost one to G assist, and then just lost the other one. So I had to go medical manager here, and I went misery because now I can still get a double tiger attack off, which is what I wanted, at least a double tiger attack. And then I was fearful they had double G guard in his hand, but this was the best course of action that I had available. Double G guard would have meant I lost, but with triple tiger, double G guard would have meant I would have been able to break through. But go right back into tiger, and then with the rest of my soul, I would have had enough to get through, and that's the end of the game. So a lot of things I could have did differently, but there's a couple things I did nicely. Oh, back to the start. There's things I could have did better that I can see now, which makes me feel better about the deck. Showdown getting better with it and feel more comfortable playing a slightly longer game. And I don't feel the need to linearly go Nova or Danfer Miracle Ace or Supernova Miracle Ace. I can go Supernova into Picaro, or I have different decision trees I can take, which make me feel good about the deck now. But at the time, I felt I needed to go for the Hail Mary pass with Miracle Ace, and it cost me game one. And then I learned from that past mistake or past decision, and then turned myself into a winning position in game two. Because if I didn't take that hit from his other rear guard, he would have hit the heal trigger and would have been at 1 damage going into my turn, which would have hurt me. Even with the double crit, he would have been at 4 instead of 5, which meant he had that buffer zone to save his G guard for later. But that'll do it. Hope you guys enjoyed. That puts me at 2-0 in these Reddit Showdown games for now. I got a cool little flair for it. It was fun. And so I'm gonna put up the link to the LaFont Doctor video if you're not familiar with it, like I said before. And until next time, peace, be easy.